Which
So,
is,
so
what can we say, over whatever, like 100K?
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so he brought in over 100K.
And it's not even, you just got to be careful and always be grateful, whether it's a $10 donation or it's a $25,000 donation, the same level of gratitude because you're continuing to build those connections.
This is a special episode. We got 3 other shop teachers, not the usual bunch, but some incredible people here. And we're going to talk about the amazing Shop Class Showdown. So this all started out as kind of a joke between me and Josh. But what isn't a joke is trying to get funds into the classroom. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. And so I think we're all here to, number one, congratulate Gregg on the amazing job that he did. Kind of talk about how we got money into the classroom, kind of what works, what doesn't work. And basically, if you're listening, maybe how you can get involved as whether you're a business or a contractor. So, Gregg, you brought in like am I allowed to say how much you brought in?
You can if you want. It's all right.
What can we say, over whatever, like 100K?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so he brought in over 100K. I I was at like 15,000, close to 20,000. And I was like, man, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And then you sent that over and I was blown away. How have you gotten to the point where you can, do what you do?
Well, I'll try to keep this short, but I'll go back to, gosh, 25 years ago at the high school. I write music and I had done a song uh, to the tune Brooks and Dunn, My Maria. I did My Makita. And one of my students said, you should send that in to them, see, and I'm not going to send it. I sent it in. They sent us $15,000 worth of tools, which now would probably be 30,000. But that started a trajectory. And my philosophy all the way 25 years ago was, um, the marriage of, if we can get tool companies to buy into the idea that the first tool that's in the hands of these students when they're using them, that's going to be their preference, or at least something they're familiar with when they go out to become contractors themselves or in the workforce. So it's kind of a win-win. And then there's the idea of a tax deductible donation that goes along. And some of the companies aren't even looking for that, but it's just a benefit or a perk that goes with it. And so anytime that I've seen an opportunity, I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that every connection that we make, you never know what that's going to turn into. And now there's the realm of social media that has caused a lot of this to explode as well. And so, if it weren't for social media, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am now. That's opened up a lot of doors as well. But I think just keeping an attitude of gratitude, and every contact that you have, people want to, all of a sudden, it's like you just are overwhelmed with people wanting to give you things. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you would want to do this for us. Whether it's a $10 donation or it's a $25,000 donation, the same level of gratitude because you're continuing to build those connections.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I think businesses want to get involved. I think a lot of times they just don't know how. Josh, you have you had a bunch of contacts. You actually hooked us up with like Spider and different other companies. Are those companies that you've worked with for a long time, or is that relationships that you built recently?
Yeah, no, a lot of that's like really came on recently. So like historically I've only taught for 8 years now, but like going back, 6, 7, 8 years ago, uh, initially like all my people I knew just were just local companies, local businesses. Like I work with my HBA really closely, and so we would get like Malarkey Roofing. I know a rep from them, and she's awesome and to give us like roofing materials and stuff like that. But like all my connections were super local. But then the Spider reached out to our district office. We have 2 high schools, and they were like, "Hey, we want to hook up your shop teachers with some products." So then I was like, "Okay." So I got in contact with them, and but through the International Builder Show that I know you and I went to. Greg, I don't know if you went to that this year, but my HBA sponsored me to go to that, and really that's what kicked off for me. So I went. They sent me and one other shop teacher from the Kansas City area, And Ryan, the guy I went with, is Ryan. He was like dead set. He's like, I need hammers. Like you know, but he like went to Estwing and went up to Martinez and Stiletto, and watching him kind of like just go it from that angle, like just walking up to him and be like, hey, like I'm a shop teacher. I'm not a builder. I don't have any money. I need your product and I need it for free. And just like kind of watching him just go and talk to them and just make that connection and, state his case on why it's important to support, these programs. It was actually really inspiring for me because like I'm not the kind of person to ask for help. So watching him do that, that really inspired me. And then when I got back, I was like, you know what, I just need to go on a tear. And I just started like emailing and calling people and just being like, hey, this is the reality of life as a teacher. We don't really have any money and we have a lot of kids that are interested, but we don't have materials. We certainly don't have the tools that we need. And so, yeah, and that's when I found, you cast a wide net and you get a few companies that, but I think that as those companies, like, Gregg said, like as those companies start hearing like, oh, these other companies are donating, like, well, we want to get involved in this. This is really cool. And that's kind of one of the things with the Shop Class Showdown, when we started that, I was like, this is great. Cause like, especially with social media, like, it
Yeah.
becomes just a little competition. They're like, hey, I want to get in on that. I need some of that goodwill. I want these kids to think of my company, stuff like that. So costs nothing to go up to somebody and just ask a rep for, some help.
Yeah, the very first International Builder Show I went to, I was fortunate enough. I ran into Gregg and Matt Bloomquist, and so I walked around the show with Gregg, and I was like, "This is like, first of all, I can learn a ton from just his teaching experience, the way he asks people, talks about his program and stuff. It was awesome, and Gregg was incredibly kind. I was like, I mean, I've been teaching only for 5 years, and that was like a year and a half into it, and sometimes you kind of feel like you're on an island when you're teaching, and that's the beauty of social media. It's like it connects you to other people, and I was like, man, this is incredible. And like just everybody was beyond kind as far as shop teachers, especially Gregg and Matt, just like letting me tag along with them and kind of learning from them and him helping me out. You got in my class boots, like with the connection that you had, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, the International Builder Show has been incredible. Bobby, you're more of the I think I'm much more on the construction end. I think Gregg is on the construction end. You do a lot more of the furniture building, right? You're like a cabinetry teacher. So that whole world, that's not my background. And you've built some connections with some big tool brands, right?
Yes. Yeah. So first, I got to say thank you so much for inviting us all on here. This is one of the pinnacles of my career is being on the FourMan Podcast, and I absolutely love everything that you do online and helping orchestrate this shop class showdown was a ton of fun. And I honestly thought I was going to win because I pulled in a record almost $52,000 this year, but I just totally get trounced on by the Iowan below me here. So that is okay. I am happy for you, but you're going down next year, Greg. Yes, it is true. I teach at Coon Rapids High School, just north of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. Traditional wood shop. We have some light construction classes that we teach here, but it's very heavy in the cabinetry world. We do a lot of furniture. We've got 3 different levels, and students can take that 3rd level as many times as they want. So I've got students that have hung out here all 4 years and turned out to be some great cabinet makers and win Steels USA competitions and our local Minnesota Woodworkers Guild competitions. It's really a good thing that we've got going on here. So part of that success is driven by our industry partners. And so I'm a board member of the National Woods Board. There's a lot that come along just with that organization, the National Woods Board. It's a curriculum package as well as certification and actual benchmark standards, but it's an official thing that we've brought here, which has helped bring in a lot of industry support. Big one was Energy Microvelm, the CAD CAM software for building cabinets. It's CAD CAM software for woodworkers. So we've brought that here in a measured scale. They give me 1 seat and I can have it on my teaching machine. I find a lot of value in the National Woods Board. I do the online marketing stuff too. Mr. Miller's Wood Shop online everywhere. I'm mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram, but I've also got a podcast under the same name. Podcast, Mr. Miller's Wood Shop Podcast. I've taken several summer jobs. Just my wife has a habit of having a baby every other year, so I gotta pay for diapers and baby food and Little League registration and all that kind of stuff. So I take summer jobs in my industry, and that it goes both ways. I'm able to feed my kids, pay my mortgage, and then also I come home with the information on how to build countertops or how the machines actually go together. One of our best industry partners is Safety Speed Manufacturing. They make the panel saws that we share in both our industries, and they're just a few miles from the high school here. They've employed me the last 2 years in their sales and marketing team, which is a little bit different than teaching in a wood shop, but just fascinating on the online marketing side of things and just seeing how you can optimize and um, strategically get in front of more people so that it can benefit the students. Bottom line, it all benefits the students. None of it is monetized to me. It's just the benefit of the students. We got new saws here, new blades here. That's the whole idea of the summer work. It always ends in August, and I go back to being a teacher in September is how I look at it. We've got
That's
a
awesome.
good advisory board that helps out. Now we've over 90 industry partners that are actively helping out. It's all online. Most of it is LinkedIn. Some of them are national. A lot of them are local, where they're coming in, helping out. They give apprenticeships. They host shop tours, field trips, come in for guest speakers, career fair, trades days, things like that. And then the International Woodworking Fair is the big one for me. It's kind of like the IBS of the woodworking community. Hopefully to get to IBS one of these years when my wife doesn't have a baby, so that I can pal around with you guys and meet all the other big time shop teachers too. So
Yeah.
that's
How
yeah.
many years have you been going to IBS, Greg?
Gosh, maybe 12.
Okay. And you also go to World of Concrete as well, right?
I do. Yeah, I take students to that one, not because IBS isn't great, but because they have lots of hands-on demos of the latest tools, big slabs of concrete you can cut on and drill on or jackhammer on, and just a lot of big hands-on stuff. Um, and I love that part of it. I've had them come to IBS before, and it was good, but then somebody recommended World of Concrete, and that's where I've gone since then. It's been a pretty good trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Yeah,
is
I went
that?
Vegas normally.
they're almost back to back, like the shows. World of Concrete seems amazing. Me and Ken from the podcast, we went to JLC, which that was amazing because the amount of hands-on and basically how small of a show it was. Like you could talk to everybody. That's where I got the Martinez hammer because I basically ragged on those guys because Stiletto sent 3 hammers. You also, Greg, you managed to also pull an event as well. How are you pulling industry partners into your classroom? That they're huge names.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's making those initial contacts. A lot of times it's the IBS. I met Tony for the first time at the Sashko dinner. I'd followed him online and reached out and honestly, I don't know if you know Brandon Jones, that's been he does the podcast with Travis Brungard, the remind me of the name of it.
Building
Building
consensus.
Consensus, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Brandon came to this event, but I mean, they drive from all over the place, and Tony brought his son and flew here. And what's cool is that people want to get on board with stuff like this because I think it's a win-win. It's a good public eye type of thing, optics, for these folks that are, I mean, he's a Emmy nominated, TV show guy plus the Instagram or whatever, but he's probably the most humble person you'll ever meet. And by him coming here, when he's posting and reposting, everything that he's done, that just amplifies or has that exponential effect then on your network now grows. Every person you meet and connect with. Citing by Ruiz, I needed more team mentors. and I've been following him, never met the guy, from Oswego, Illinois, and I knew that was like 5 hours away from us. I just called him out of the blue and said, "Hey, I like your content. Here's what we got going on." And he goes, "I'm in." And I mean, he didn't even hesitate. And then there was this gal that did a window unit called Misty with a View. And I just kind of reached out to her and said, "You want to do a little breakout seminar with some high school?" Because when we do this big event, all the shop teachers, we treat them like royalty. We have a VIP room with charcuterie boards while the kids are competing, and they have a professional mentor mentoring them. Then we do a couple breakout training sessions with them. And she's like, "Yeah, I'll come." So then she comes in and then she'd never used Sashko before. They're a window installation company, and now they're going to install Sashko because Sienna from Sashko was there with a pallet of Sashko, and we sent. It's anytime you can make connections to help others too, I think is a big thing, and it's just, it keeps growing. Aaron Jones is supposed to come at some point, but it always falls during his family vacation. But I think we'll have others that'll hop on board and want to be part of it in the future too.
Yeah, that seems like an incredible event. It's amazing that you're able to pull all those people. Speaking of crazy events, Josh had the Parade of Playhouses. I've tried to pitch to my builders association because there's always, so we have Skills USA, which I think is very good, but I don't like the non-team aspect. And I feel like it's the same way and Gregg has, it's like it's a good way to draw in maybe industry partners and stuff like that. And then it also, the students can kind of, I always envision it as some way the students could connect with the building industry in one more way. Josh, how long have you been doing the Parade of Playhouses?
So the Kansas City Home Builders Association, now I'm biased, obviously, but I think they're the best, if not definitely one of the best HBAs in the nation, bar none. I mean, just the programming they do for students, the involvement with teachers and students is incredible. But the biggest thing that, in my opinion, like the most important thing, they have what they call the Foundations for the Future week that they do every year. And it starts like it starts with uh, the HBA puts on this Parade of Playhouses, and it's like the Parade of Homes tour, but it's for trade schools, high schools, whoever wants to compete. Basically, if you can get a playhouse built, um, and they're pretty incredible. These aren't like playhouses like I built for my kid in my backyard. These are like real tiny houses, basically. So if you get a playhouse built by the deadline, and then you'll enter it, you'll get sponsored by the HBA. You'll find you a sponsoring company within their organization, pay the entry fee for you. And there's usually, I think this year there was 14 or 15 playhouses. And, they have all their sponsor, like flag with the sponsoring company, everything. So everybody gets a little something out of it. But what's really cool, so it's on display for about a week, and it just goes through a silent auction. So throughout the week, people can come and that are visiting the museum, or they just want to come down and look at it. They can look at it. Kids can play on it. They can, bid on it. And then on the Saturday, so yeah, we deliver everything on Monday when the museum's closed. And then on Saturday, they have a big event that they put on for the kids. So it kind of doubles up with like a traditional woodworking event that we do every year too, which is the KC Manufacturing and Design Expo. So you enter this year I had a young lady who built a dining room table and got second place overall. So that was really awesome to see. So the traditional kind of woodworking event, kids go and the builders and architects and people in the industry will go and, kind of talk to them and judge them and they'll go through that competition. And then while that's happening, another set of judges, usually people in the building industry, will go out and they'll walk around and they'll judge all the playhouses. And then at about noon, they do a luncheon. So they bring, we try to invite as many students as possible. So I'll invite every student that participated on any level on the Playhouse, invite them all down, even just kids in my class that I know are want to go in the construction industry. Because there'll be, a bunch of industry reps down there, builders, just people from the industry. So they go to the luncheon. They do a really good job having just like an activity for the kids to do. And then they do the award ceremony. So all the playhouses, there's, a first place, a pick of the parade and a pick of the parade runner up. There's a judge's award, a best in craftsmanship, an innovation award. But then, yeah, after that, it's just like kind of just a meet and greet networking. Builders that, are going to invest time in this, especially on a weekend. These are people that are really invested in, providing opportunities for our students. And so I don't think I've ever had a year where we didn't have students just get job offers just from going to this one event. I mean, just straight up, they get a chance to talk to the builders, and the builders are like, "Hey, like if you're looking for a job this summer," and some of my kids are like 16 years old, and they're like, "Well, about an internship, just a summer job." So I have a young man this year. He's 16 years old, and he's interning with a really really good builder here in Kansas City. And I told him, I was like, Corbin, you got to run with this opportunity because this is incredible, life changing opportunity. You get in with this, good of a company at this young of an age is incredible opportunity. So it's all because of this playhouse. So we have all, now we're branching out and we're doing projects with elementary schools, building, structures, outdoor classrooms, and we've got community partners, through the HBA. I was talking about my roofing rep from Malarkey, Catherine. She's amazing, and she found out that we were doing this project at the elementary school, and she's like, "Well, I've got some roofers that work with me. Like, they're even more than happy to come out." And like, so they brought True Grit Roofing and Construction here in Kansas City. They came out. He brought his whole crew out, and they just, did a whole roofing demo, everything. And I mean, it was incredible. It was hands down like the most meaningful like experience that we've gotten. And it was just that, like Greg was talking about earlier, it's that snowball effect. You get one person, so I met Catherine through the PWB, the Professional Women in Building. They were our sponsor one year for our playhouse. So I met her through that. She's like, "Hey, if you ever need shingles," I'm like, "I always need shingles." And then through her, I met True Grit Roofing, and now I've got that connection, and they can actually bring contractors who know what they're doing to come out and give my students a real lesson on roofing. That's what I'm trying to get to Greg's level, where I can just, get all these professionals to come out and, really show the students to do things the right way, and also, obviously more meaningful than that, just make those connections. Because I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting these kids opportunities for employment. And the best way to do that is to get them face to face with the people that are going to employ them. So, yeah,
We're all trying to get to Gregg's level.
yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
Greg's the most humble guy, but we're gonna put him on the spot.
Don't
All
do
right.
that. I admire you guys because, I'm going on my 35th year of teaching now, and I'm looking down the road, like I may couple years, who knows, retirement could happen in a couple of years. But it's encouraging that I didn't even have to pass the torch on to the next generation, because you guys are carrying the torch already, and leading with passion. And my outlook on the future of trades education is very good because of guys like you. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I will say it's awesome. It's a cool community. For anybody that isn't a part of this community, it is a cool community. This is something that I always said, like, I thought I was going to do for a year to 2 years. In between having a contracting company, I was going to do this, and then I was going to peace out, and, God or whoever had different plans for me. So it is definitely cool to have people like you, Greg, and Josh and Bobby and all like that. It's cool to be able to reach out to people. It's cool to have fun competitions like this. It's not like contracting. I'm not competing against anybody. We're all just trying to have fun. And so even the competitions can be fun. So this has been incredible. All right, to close it out, what's the sales pitch to a company to say, "Hey, you need to get involved."
They're your future employees, or they're the people that are going to put you out of business. So help them now or be hurt later.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that the biggest thing is we all want to see this industry grow, and we all want to see this industry, thrive. And we all know the challenges facing the industry, but it starts at the school level. So like without, and I think that Bobby and Noah, you guys are about my age. So I think we're all from the generation where it was college for all. And, if we don't invest in trades education, then trades education is going to go away like it did 20 years ago. It's just now coming back. And if we don't continue to invest in it, it's going to go away again. And then we're going to have another huge problem on our hands. I think right now, more and more people are getting interested in the trades as a career and seeing it as a viable option. And so now is the time to invest heavily in that to make sure that, it grows and continues to, we continue to have opportunities.
Gregg's a part of our generation too. Don't be saying anything about him. What you got, Gregg? What's the $1 million pitch here? Because you've done it. I
Well,
also
I don't
want to
know.
know what your overall number is. What you've brought in to your class. It's got to be insane.
Over 19, I don't know about the high school. I haven't kept track there, but since 19 years at Nyack, now I'd be at 1.8 million.
Holy cow!
Wow.
But that's irrelevant if it doesn't make a difference for students, right? So, when I'm talking to companies, first I try to learn a little bit about the company. Like, don't go in cold turkey. Hey, you make this, we need this, whatever. We have a need here, but study the company, get to know about them and find out who they are, what their values are, then start to have that conversation, build a relationship. And then sometime after that, they'll donate without you even asking. But sometimes you ask ahead of time. And I'm a believer that, if a farmer puts a seed in the ground, they believe that if the right conditions are there, there's going to be, if it produces an apple tree, what kind of a harvest is there going to be with that, right? I think these companies that do this, whether they realize it or not, I'm not going to say the names of any of them, but some of the companies that were generous to me early on have either doubled, tripled, or quadrupled their gross national product since then. And kudos to them, like support for them 100%, or people that we engage with. I think when they do that, it's hard to prove that to them on the front end, but a side benefit, and that's not why they give. They don't give because they want to get in return, but it's that snowball effect that when you give something and it's with the right mindset, I believe good things are going to happen to the company. Not just, it's a tax write-off or whatever, or maybe we could get some employees out of this. I do honestly feel that it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, that's incredible advice. As far as that, if Gregg said it, I got nothing better. So I'm gonna close there. Next year, I'm gonna basically I'm gonna steal all y'all's ideas, and that's all I do as a teacher is just steal people that are smarter than me, their ideas, and then hopefully my students steal the ideas, and hopefully it gets better and better. So I'm excited. Next year, hopefully we get some more people in on it, have some fun with it. It started out as a joke. It started out as Lowe's, a comment that you made, basically a post that Josh had of putting Lowe's Tyvek upside down until they donate. And I
Still
thought that was
looking at you, Lowe's.
hilarious. So ball's in your court. Yeah, Lowe's. It's on you. I actually was fortunate enough. I just landed the Home Depot grant, $10,000.
Congratulations.
So to heck with Lowe's, But yeah, I just found out this week. So
Awesome.
I'm better for having known all of y'all. This has been incredible. We're gonna have to do this again. Hopefully y'all have a great relaxing summer, and all the product and everything that we get into the classroom has a positive impact, as I know y'all are all making one in the classroom. Thanks for being on the podcast. This is the best. You guys are the best. Appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noah.